Thank you, organizers, for giving me a chance to talk of our work. Our work is about cubic D1 double perovskites, and we studied mainly local electronic properties by, theoretically. So cubic double perovskites have been discussed many times during this conference, and I will briefly explain. They have been investigated much because unconventional magnetic waves may appear in this system. First, because appear. First of all, the magnetic side forms FCC structure, so this is geometrically frustrated. And moreover, there is strong spin-orbit coupling on magnetic side. And in the case of D1 system, local electronic spin-orbit coupling makes the ground spin-orbit coupled state four-fold degenerate state. Because of this high degeneracy, the exchange interaction becomes of multipolar type. And in the case of ordered system have been studied by mean field theory and so on, and canted antiferromagnetic waves have been predicted, and then later it was confirmed experimentally. And in such a system, because of high degeneracy, orbital lattice coupling can survive. And in this case, Jantera effect may appear. However, this effect hasn't been investigated in this system much. And regarding lattice degrees of freedom, there are many questions. Well, there are a couple of questions. First of all, X-ray diffraction shows no clear Jantera deformation or symmetry lowering down to low temperature. On the other hand, recent NMR experiment shows a sign of development of Jantera deformation. So our questions are if Jantera effect exists in this material or not. And then if it does, what does this effect what is the role of this effect in low energy properties? Before explaining our work, I will briefly review the simple Jantera effect. I will pick up double degenerate orbitally double degenerate system, and let's consider such a deformation. If this atom goes further from this orbital, electron repulsion between this orbital and this charge becomes smaller, and we obtain some stabilization. On the other hand, this deformation, this tetragonal deformation, due to the same deformation, there is a repulsion between this orbital and ligands becomes larger, and this orbital is unstabilized. And of course, if we do the opposite deformation, it means compress, then stabilized orbital becomes opposite. And in Jantera material systems, usually this is high symmetric, and there are some equivalent deformations. And if we consider such an information, we can obtain such a energy spectra. So this is a low energy for some deformation, and this is a high energy for some deformation. And at low energy state, we obtain in the ground state, the system will take either this electronic state with this deformation, or this electronic state with deformation, or this electronic state with this deformation. I mean, all of them are equivalent, but in this case, the system takes only one electron configuration. So far, I have talked only deformation, but this is usually called static Yantra effect. There is also dynamical Yantra effect. The difference is, so far we treated deformation as a classical variable or external variable, and kinetic momentum, nuclear momentum as zero. But in dynamical Yantra effect, both of them are treated as a quantum dynamical variables. And as a result, for example, the state here, nuclear degrees of freedom here is already started to delocalize, and if the height of potential between these different minima becomes lower, and this wave function is delocalized over the minima of this potential. As a result, the eigenstate of such a system is expressed by the linear combination of many electron orbital lattice configurations. Or, so I would say again, this is characterized by orbital lattice entanglement. So this is a summary with some equation. So there is a nuclear kinetic energy term, harmonic potential term, and some electron vibrational coupling term. And in static Yantra effect, we only consider this part, and then discuss deformation and deformations basically. But in the dynamical Yantra effect, we consider everything, and we treat all variables as variables quantum mechanically. Now I will explain our system. In our system, there is spin-orbit coupling, and also T2G orbital, there is spin-orbit coupling, and T2G orbitals couple with two types of Yantra deformations. One is double degenerate one, and the other is triple degenerate T2G deformation. And this vibronic coupling and spin-orbit coupling, vibronic coupling is not quenched as explained yesterday. Quenched. And this can be intuitively understood by looking at the distribution of electrons in J free half. There are two types of electron distribution, and for example, for this deformation, apparently these two electron fields different potentials. So that's why there is Yantra deformation. Now, our system is expressed by this Hamiltonian that contains spin-orbit coupling, nuclear kinetic energy, and potential term. To fully understand the D1 metal system, D1 metal quantitatively or actual situation, we have to know several coupling parameters. We have derived these coupling parameters by using Post-Hartree-Fock calculation called CAS-FCF and then CAS-PT2 and spin-orbital SSI method. And spin-orbit coupling is obtained from the energy gap between J1 half and J free half. And vibronic coupling and frequencies are derived from the potential energy surface with respect to Yantra deformations. And these potentials were fitted to this model Hamiltonian. The obtained parameters are listed here. From these parameters, we found osmium compounds are approximately expressed by gamma 8 times EG Antler system. And in the case of molybdenum, we also study molybdenum, and in this case, this is expressed by gamma 8 times T2G Antler. It is close to T2G and times gamma 8 times T2G Antler system. But in this work, we consider a bit more complicated or more complete model. The eigenstate of that Hamiltonian is expressed like here. This is a linear combination of the products of spin orbit coupled state and lattice degrees of freedom part. And so that's why we call this spin orbital lattice entangled state. And to obtain quantitative data, we did numerical calculation. To do this, this lattice part was expanded by using the eigenstates of harmonic oscillators. And then this is the energy spectra obtained by numerical calculation. This is 0 is the energy without the Antler effect, and this line shows the vibronic energy levels. These two are osmium, and both show there is a relatively large stabilization by dynamical Antler effect. And we compared this energy with this energy is much larger than inter-site interaction measured by Curie-Weiss constant. So based on this, we concluded that there is a spin orbital lattice entanglement on D1 metal site. And this explains why in X-ray data there is no clear Antler deformation. We analyzed our data and we found there is magneto-elastic response. Because since our vibronic level contains the information of spin also, so by applying magnetic field, it shows Zeeman splitting. And we draw the spatial distribution of our wave function for each of them, and we found our wave function has a maxima at slightly deformed position. In the case of this state, we found maxima of maximum distribution at slightly compressed structure. And in this case, we found the maxima at slightly elongated position.
What is the difference actually in this parameter?
This is for this state. This is for other state. And the deformation here shows the elongation is about 0.008 angstrom. And also, by considering dynamically Antler effect, we found the deformation within potential is the deformation here is smaller than the deformation showing the minima of potential. Smaller than the deformation of the minima of potential. So from here, this is our second result. Magneto-elastic response appears on site due to the spin orbital lattice entanglement. Now, based on the obtained data, we would like to discuss several experimental data. First one is NMR spectra. When temperature is low, only ground state is populated, we should obtain some deformed structure. And as temperature rises, a few levels are populated, and at that moment, with deformation, with two different deformations cancel each other. Cancel each other for symmetry lowering. And finally, if all of them are populated, probably we obtain highly symmetric structure. We expect around here only the ground state is populated, and as temperature rises, some excited states are populated, and this NMR signal becomes simply broadened one, and finally we obtain single peak. This is our interpretation. And we also try to describe such a thing, but we found in the current situation, since we consider only one single ion, the change is very rapid. And the difference between this 9 Kelvin and this temperatures are explained by considering the intersite interaction. In ordered phase, there are some strong effective field. And if there is such a strong effective field, Zeeman splitting becomes even larger than applied magnetic field, larger than the case of applied magnetic field. And so this large splitting remains up to until Curie-Weiss temperature, Curie temperature, and after phase transition starts, probably this becomes lower. This splitting becomes smaller, and finally we obtain only one peak. And also, some calculation yesterday, the day before yesterday, I saw some deformation that is different from compression of octahedron, but probably since I showed all data by using the applied field along Z, but in materials, there is a different magnetic field along different direction, and ground state is not like such a state, but mixture of these two. So finally, we should obtain different deformation. This is what I'm thinking. And also, this is also speculation, but entropy of log 2 also may come from this splitting. In the presence of ordered phase, in the ordered phase, probably we are only looking at lowest two levels, and if it is true, probably we see only two entropy of spin pseudo spin 1/2. This is a recent data of specific heat, and it is explained many times, and these authors discuss, since because of spin orbital entanglement, there is their magnetic phase is influenced by effective field, and even without applying magnetic field, they obtain such a gap between paramagnetic and ferromagnetic phase. So this may support our idea. And finally, this is a molybdenum compound, and we obtain more or less similar similar wavelength spectra and spectra, and we expect in this system there is dynamically anti effect also. And in this system, inelastic neutron scattering has been studied, and there is a strong peak around here. This has been attempted to interpret based on exchange interaction, but experimental Curie-Weiss is around this magnitude for it is around here, and I expect, based on this calculation, this peak may arise from this excited vibronic levels. So this is conclusion.
Q dependence. You show Q dependence of the energy. What's dispersion?
This is already integrated, I think.
But what's the?
Of course. We have to consider interaction between sites, and there is some broadening probably.
No, but it's the
Question: What is
feature
along
of
this
the
axis?
exactly this axis has to be the Q.
Sorry. This is, I think, intensity of Q.
Intensity of the energy.
Intensity of Q and elastic Newton.
Integrate
Q.
all Q values.
Yeah. Sorry, I erased.
So we have some
Yeah.
low, some kind of excitation
Yeah.
on this bright.
Yes, and this is not well understood. And so in this work, we proved the presence of spin orbital lattice entanglement on D1 metal site. And then we showed because of this entanglement, there is magnetoelastic response. Okay, this is all. Thank you very much.